spawning on Fire Island in game number 1 of the Grand Finals Best of 7 for the Red 3 Christmas Tournament of 2014. We have the Cyan Allies from Team NACL, the Salties Clan, and Red Alert 3, it is YuiYui. And in the top right corner as the Yellow Empire player, he has been undefeated in series in today. It is Kimi no Uji. Lots of games to get through for these players. Refineries right from the start, nothing too crazy. And I mean, by that I mean we're seeing no third refinery come out. Now, YuiYui, primarily an allied player, but he's been known to go for a bit of Empire now and again. We're seeing refineries, and of course, as Empire, you gotta always think, am I gonna have to deal with a patented YuiYui turret push in this series? Maybe I am, maybe I am not. Now, on the right side of the map, YuiYui cleans up one dojo core. Kimi gets the control of one oil derrick, and up here, the dog does get crushed. Kimi can now grab the second oil derrick pretty much scot-free. He doesn't have to worry about just about anything from YuiYui, since YuiYui is pumping everything into the bottom. The engineer for YuiYui is coming out. It looks like he's only produced one, but let's check back into the base just to make sure there's not a second engineer waiting there for a Riptide to transport him up north to an oil derrick. So YuiYui, he needs to control this oil derrick for, I believe, like a full minute to really recoup the cost of that engineer. 450 credits a minute. There's the third refinery for that Empire player, Kimi. He's, of course, going to be looking to take game number 1 in a very convincing fashion, because for him, there's a best of 7 between him and first place. For Yui, a best of 7 into a best of 5 is what these players are going to be doing. So YuiYui, he's in it for the long haul. He's looking to tie things up and just head into the longer games, but the airfield is now out. YuiYui could be going for a third refinery after this. He did produce an extra engineer that I did miss. Happened a little bit later. There's the oil derrick that he's going to be going for. Kimi going for his mecha bay and the defender core as well, just to make sure he's got a bit of extra defense. Ooh, the bonsai charge on this Imperial Warrior is actually going to be enough to kill off the engineer. Goodbye, 500 credits, and that just feels so good for Kimi to do. Not only did he get both of the oil derricks cash back value, but he also got the kill on that engineer. And actually, he might very well get another capture on this oil derrick. Of course, YuiYui may just hover a Vindicator over here to just eliminate the engineer as soon as it pops out, since it's in that magic spot where you can't actually get a dog back there or anything to kill it off. Looks like we need to see an extra power plant come out from Kimi. Peacekeepers coming in, but with 2 Tengus right here on the front lines, they're going to be able to hold the line, especially with those repairs, even without the Defender VX turret. There's really no way for YuiYui to break through the front at this point. Barracks coming down for YuiYui. Could be going for his third refinery at either the water or on land. Either one is a viable choice. Kimi grabs back that oil derrick, and of course, in that situation, if YuiYui waits around, he's going to be spending a lot of time waiting for that engineer to pop out, or if he tries to kill off the barracks, well, then Kimi just waits for the bombs to hit the barracks, produces the last bit of the engineer pops on out, and then he's able to grab and then as the Vindicator is flying away, he's able to grab that oil derrick. Another engineer going to be capping this oil derrick. I guess for the first time he's actually going to be capturing it is YuiYui. There's refinery number 3 for YuiYui. Now there's still no tier 2 on this mecha bay. And Kimi is kind of playing an older school style of very Tengu heavy play until kind of the mid to late game. You're going very Tengu heavy for the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game. Actually going to be mixing in infantry as well with that dual racks play. But overall, playing pretty passive in the early game, not looking to really end things out too early, not looking to be too crazy throughout this game, at least at the beginning. Now, YuiYui, on the other hand, pushing up forward with his MCV, getting a bit of a turret push on, and we'll see if he's actually able to make this work, because there's lots of production capabilities right here Potentially we'll end up seeing some tank busters added on. And ooh, one of these Apollos could be going down, or the Vindicator could also be getting eliminated with 5 or 6 Tengus. I guess 5 since one did get eliminated. Both the Apollo and the Vindicator do go down. YuiYui is just going to be going straight for the crushes. He did get a multi-gunner turret down, so he's pretty much guaranteed the kill on the Harvester. He gets that kill. He's also got a barracks, which means this dog can indeed... Whoa, that dog is glitched like around that MCV. It was caught around the front of it, but it took a couple of moments for the animation to actually catch up with it. Now, one Tengu will be getting crushed. It'll do a bit of splash damage to that barracks, also a bit of splash damage to the MCV, and Kimmy is going to be locking up game number 1 in this series, most likely as he gets the kill on that MCV. YuiYui has been defeated, and the GG well played comes out from Yui. Game number 1, in a pretty convincing fashion, goes to Kimmy, as he's able to lock that game down in just about 5 minutes. And game 2 takes us to Infinity Isle, spawning as the Blue Empire. On the right side, we do indeed have the player who's dominating this tournament. It's Kimmy no Uji. On the left side, as the Cyan allies from Team NACL, YuiYui. Game number 1, that turret push from Yui did not work out. Kimmy with that dual racks production, just able to make it happen. Crushing through. Now, of course, neither player is at so big of a deficit that they cannot come back. It's not going to be nearly impossible. Nothing quite that dramatic. YuiYui is just going to have to make sure that he plays solid. Maybe that means defensive play. But can he play defensive versus Kimmy? A player who's got macro... Oh my word, he's doing it again. Wait, was it Kimmy who did this? Or was it somebody else? But he's going fast Yuriko. He's already upgrading the tier 2 on his dojo. And this may very well be spotted. Did he do this to Wolf? Was that who he did this to? I'm not sure. I feel like, I know somebody else did this in the tournament today, but was it Kimmy? I feel like it was. He's going to start the tier 3 immediately, and then once it finishes, he's going to sell off that nanotech mainframe, and of course, he's going to get that cash back. He's going to go for Yuriko, and potentially even a sudden transport. It's 2 refinery, but that Yuriko can throw such wrenches into this. YuiYui, I don't know if he knows it, but he's actually going for exactly what he needs. Fast tier 2 into cryocopters. This could be exactly what he needs to take game number 2 to even up the score. Now, we'll have to see, because Yuriko is pretty much guaranteed to kill 1 cryocopter. Maybe not if she's on a move command, but she's pretty much guaranteed to kill 1 cryocopter, and YuiYui should be seeing that nanotech mainframe. He should be wondering, what exactly are you going for? Now, here's the Mecha Bay. This is the clock for YuiYui. He needs to make sure that he's got air superiority. He cannot give it away to Tengus protecting Yuriko from cryocopters, from Vindicators, from stuff in the sky. But YuiYui is going for a pretty standard sort of build order, which is not fast cryocopters, but it's not the fastest cryocopters, but it's relatively fast cryocopters. And of course, this can just be so powerful in an ordinary game, but you expect to see more Tengus out on the map. And by seeing that, nanotech mainframe, by seeing the extremely late Mecha Bay, the fact that there's no Tengus, he should indeed know what's going on. Might just go ahead and shrink down that MCV. But Kimmy is committing to it at this point, selling off a refinery to get enough money to deal with this. He doesn't actually have the oil derrick either, since it did get cleaned up. And goodbye, engineer. That gets taken out as well. Yuriko pops out, though, and gets insta-killed by the dog. He didn't get anything. Okay, says Kimmy no Uji. He just gets murdered in this game. The exact right thing to do, and YuiYui evens up the score 1-1 in this best of 7. And man, that dog was just in the absolute perfect position. YuiYui doing everything that he needed. And that will do it for that game. I mean, that is how things work in the game sometimes. When it's a build order win like that, man, things can go down so quickly. Let's jump right into game number 3. Right, welcome to Industrial Strength. Game number 3 of the Grand Finals is kicking off with our Empire player in the bottom left side going for something risky, but it did not work out. It is Kimmy no Uji. And the player in the top right corner, he just evened things up with a build order counter. It is YuiYui. He's from Team NACL, the Saltiest Clan in Red Alert 3, as everyone should know. And as you can see down here, or maybe you can't, YuiYui says, "I'm teal, you're dead." Which, I mean, he's just being playful a little bit there. These two guys have been playful throughout the day. YuiYui grabbing one of the oil derricks for sure. He needs to keep his dog active, and he was not able to get the kill. Ooh, he wasn't able to get the kill on the Imperial Warrior, which of course means that this engineer should be safe from here on out. Unless you're somehow able to just eliminate that dojo without any problems. But grabbing both of the buildings, going to be securing his position. And Kimmy is going to be looking to secure that kind of northern left side, however you want to call it, oil derrick. YuiYui going to be pumping down a couple of more infantry. He's sold off both of his barracks. He's starting to wall in his main. Now, this doesn't always mean something crazy. Sometimes it just means they want to expand over to a relatively quick third. They don't want to have to worry about players or units coming in here as much, since it gives you that extra couple of seconds to respond. Those wall segments just buying you that extra bit of time. Kimmy. Ooh, wait a second. Mecha Bay delayed, going for another Defender VX core. He's either really worried about a cryo rush, or he's going for some sort of heavy infantry-based play. Now, he's not actually producing anything. No, he is over here. So that dojo is cranking out Imperial Warriors for now. Okay, Mecha Bay is probably going to be the follow-up now. No, another power plant. He's got the garage in the north. It is fast cryocopters for YuiYui, and this is one refinery cryocopter, so that's about as fast as you can go. Okay, there's the MCV. For a second, I thought it was actually just completely gone. But the MCV has indeed packed up. It's heading off to the side of the map. The cryocopter is going to be getting the shots off that it needs. The Vindicator dropping its bombs, but that garage is going to be important. Still no Mecha Bay, which of course means no Tangus to help Kimmy deal with the aircraft of his opponent. And YuiYui, I mean, he's playing things a little bit risky. Not exactly the close expand that you normally see players go for. Instead, it's going to be, just a little bit more risky. It's not terribly risky or anything like that, but it does put you at a risk. YuiYui going for the freeze on that oil derrick, getting whatever value he can out of that cryocopter. Of course, with the oil derrick being frozen down and killed off as well, that cryocopter is pretty much paid for itself. As you know, ooh, drops 2 bombs there. Didn't necessarily need to do that. Potentially still can kill a harvester if he gets just the right angle. He might be able to reach it out of range of that Defender VX, but I mean, he probably won't be able to do it completely safely. Could pick off a power plant. Hey, you know what? Whatever little advantage you can gain over your opponent is, as long as it's free, it's worth it. It's maybe not always the best choice, but as long as it's free, you get out of there with no damage, it's worth it. Or you get out of there with maybe a little bit of Vindicator damage that you're able to just heal up later. Easy peasy. I think he's only got 1 bomb left. I mean, oh, he was probably trying to fake out Kimmy. Kimmy being a little bit too good, he does get the sell-off there. And we'll see if that garage actually does anything. So YuiYui, I mean, this is how he likes to play the game sometimes. He's not going super high aggro either. He's just putting on a little bit of pressure. And based on what Kimmy did, I feel like I missed something big, but there's not like a big swell of infantry out on the map. There's not like a big reason as to why this Mecha Bay had to be so delayed. He obviously wanted the defenses to help him deal with any sort of aircraft coming out from YuiYui. But even so, you'll see players get the Mecha Bay before the defenses, or at least before the second defense, and Kimmy didn't do that. He went for something a little bit different. Now, Kimmy is going to be scouting up in the north, and of course he will be seeing some very ripe, fresh harvesters for him to harass. YuiYui did not actually deploy a multi-gunner turret like in between the buildings or anything like that to save it, which means he's going to have to rush units over here. Packing along a couple of Apollos, definitely a good idea. There's the shrink down of one of the Tangus, which means it probably will be able to escape. The other ones may end up getting frozen down. YuiYui trying to get the deploy on that command hub. He may barely be able to do it if he's able to eliminate these Tangus. It's going to be close. No, one of them does become unfrozen. Can he actually do it? The splash damage from the Vindicator may end up killing it anyways, but the Prospectors have been rebuilt. YuiYui. Oh my word, he's actually going to... Oh, is he going to save it? I don't know. The honorable discharge may be too much. We'll see. Okay, so he's frozen down. Doesn't have to worry about the honorable discharge. And there we go. YuiYui able to just clean that attack up quite nicely. Didn't even lose the command hub, which means he can, of course, keep that around. If he wants to place down a turret, he can do that. There's the MCV of YuiYui, potentially with an extra refinery right there. Looks like he did he just never take this refinery? He may very well have not. I mean, he did go for one refinery at Cryos. But Kimmy, what does he do next? Well, I mean, it's hard to say. He's in an awkward position. He has to be strapped for cash. I mean, there's like no way that he comes out of this situation feeling good about his position. There's another power plant going down just to kind of body block off one of these harvesters and refineries. Apollo's showing up, but these Apollos are actually kind of low on HP. I don't know that 3 Tengus could kill them all, but they could get pretty darn close to killing all 3 of those Apollos before the Apollos actually eliminated them. No Vindicator out on the map moving towards it, and it looks like maybe another airfield will be placed here. It's always a possibility for YuiYui. He may be looking to do that. And man, those Tengus, when they're shrunk down, they fly so quickly. YuiYui going to be alternating targets with his Cryocopter, just going to be dropping those bombs, I'm assuming. Nope, misses the opportunity to kill one of them. Will fortunately be able to kill the other one. It looks like the Tank Buster Surprise upgrade was purchased, or that top secret protocol was indeed purchased for Kimmy. And he does manage to escape. Yeah, he does manage to escape the cryo shot, but not really able to escape the cryocopter unless that Tengu ends up transforming. And this Vindicator, man, he's the laziest Vindicator in the army, although he may be looking to just save his last bomb from being spent until an aircraft carrier until an airfield actually is created so that he can land, as that is most likely what was going on. Kimmy, the follow-up, he's got the naval yard going there. He could go ahead and... Oh, he sells his MCV. There's the engineer. Unfortunately for him, he's in low power mode, which means he needs to sell one of those Defender VXs. He decides to sell 2, which then opens up many opportunities for YuiYui to harass with just a single Vindicator and a single Cryocopter. Oh, YuiYui, man, come on. You gotta freeze down this. You gotta freeze down both of these Tank Busters. You can't just let them get away with this stuff, man. But YuiYui has held on to both of these refineries in the north. Well, he's taken a bit of harassment damage here. Those Tengus have been pretty effective from his opponent. But YuiYui, until he spots that MCV cell, he's going to be at a bit of a disadvantage just in terms of information. It's not like somehow because he didn't spot it, he's at a true disadvantage, but he just doesn't know the kind of timer that Kimmy is on. Naval Yard established, and of course that Tier 2, actually, okay, yeah, just Tier 2 so far, not Tier 3, means that we could be seeing hydrofoils, assault destroyers to help lock down and secure this kind of naval base. That's a lot of Tengus. It looks like Kimmy is just going Tier 1 Tengus. With the garage, it's not a bad idea. It'll give him the air superiority that he needs, and YuiYui really does need to go for a second airfield and stack it up with 4 Apollos, or he needs to go IFVs on the ground to mix in potentially hydrofoils out on the water or just a lot of multi-gunner turrets. But he's going to need that air superiority if he really wants to lock down Kimmy. And of course that opens up so many harassment opportunities for Kimmy to just be able to poke in multiple spots. He's got so many Tengus he can jump into multiple different locations and drop Tengus here, drop Tengus there, and that sort of thing. Now, YuiYui, he's got 3 Cryocopters, it looks like, currently out on the map. He's, of course, up to that Tier 2, potentially going Tier 3 at some point. Although it looks like that point is not just yet. He drops down another refinery down here in the south. The Apollos are getting taken out, and, of course, Kimmy at this point really wishes that he did have those point defense drones. Transforms all of his Tengus, which is good for him that there's nothing here to attack them because they would be taking a lot of damage right here. Yari mini-subs are going to be joining up with these Tengus, assaulting kind of the water location of YuiYui. Hydrofoils are now out on the field, and of course they can negate the damage from one of the Yari mini-subs, but the other Yari mini-subs can just focus down that hydrofoil without too much trouble. Multi-gunner turret will be helping to break up this engagement and keep the Tengus and the Yari mini-subs from joining each other in this engagement. Cryocopters also going to be very valuable for YuiYui, just helping him to shrink down, freeze those units, and just eliminate the threats of the Empire player. But Kimmy, again, he's on that clock. He's got the oil derrick. He's got 2 refinery economy. But is YuiYui's defense going to be too strong? My initial reaction would be yes, but if Kimmy keeps finding areas to point out weaknesses, to poke holes in the armor of YuiYui, he can claw his way to a victory in this game. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but at the same time, YuiYui can't just march into Kimmy's base and win the game either. It's going to be a bit of a back and forth between these players to decide who takes the lead in this series, considering the score is 1-1. Still no tier 2. He is really committing to this Tengu-based play, man. This is not Tengu play that I have seen in quite a while. I mean, Profloff, Queen Oni, they used to do this really Tengu-heavy style, but that was, 18 months ago, something like that. Back in mid-2013, early 2013 is more of when we saw that. But we have not seen Empire players in the finals in a dominant fashion in a tournament in a long time. And Kimmy, if he's able to pull Yui apart, attacking little areas one at a time, multi-pronged attacks, 3 or 2-way different attacks, he can start to pull YuiYui apart, but multi-gunner turrets are so powerful. And YuiYui dropping down lots of power plants everywhere, not leaving any one area too exposed. Of course, this is where a lot of value is for YuiYui, but he's also got close-by production structures, and Kimmy is just like, or YuiYui is just like, lol 2 ref. I mean, you're doing all of this just on 2 refineries, and I am on 4 and 5 for the majority of this game, as he's reestablished that. But, again, YuiYui, he's sticking with those higher tech units. Kimmy is instead just sticking with the tier 1 units out of his naval yard and out of his mecha bay, as he is going to be able to just produce a lot of units, even if they aren't particularly strong or particularly good. But Tengus, they're pretty good, man. They're good enough to hold their own, and actually these Yari mini-subs may get the kill on another hydrofoil. More multi-gunner turrets going to be getting placed down, and YuiYui, he's just playing defensively. He's not really looking to do the huge damage or anything like that. He's just playing defensively. He's letting Kimmy just kind of break upon the base of YuiYui, and he's hoping to just kind of play out the long game. But if he can chain up these power plants, that could be the breakthrough that Kimmy needs. He's got plenty of Yari mini-subs. There's the sell-off of both refineries, and these 2 assault destroyers from YuiYui, they're going to be trying to hold the line, but he has not enough firepower to contend with this army of Kimmy that is right here at his front door. The Apollo's getting some nice shots off here. They are going to be eliminating 2, maybe even 3 of the Tengus, but the remainder of the Tengus will escape. And now YuiYui has beaten back Kimmy, and this garage being so important in this game, just the constant repairs, constantly keeping pretty much all of his Tengus on relatively high HP, but YuiYui has broken through the defenses, and Kimmy has escaped with a couple of Tengus. One more refinery is going to be established, and, I mean, I'm not sure what YuiYui could be doing better. He's playing defensively very well. And maybe if he would have gone for an armor facility earlier in this game, that could have changed things, but I'm not actually sure. I mean, things are just, they're not looking good. They're not looking well, despite how well Yui has been playing. And Kimmy is just finding all of the weak points of Yui, poking out these power plants. No, he doesn't actually get that one. The Black Hole Armor saving it at the last possible moment, and Kimmy may be trying to dart in to finish it off, but no, he will not get the opportunity. The Assault Destroyers are just a little bit too powerful. YuiYui has the build radius to rebuild that refinery as well. And in the main base of YuiYui, Kimmy going for the big transform. He's going to have to get out of dodge, though, with this Cryoblast coming down onto almost the Tengus. They do escape on out of there, but would have been coming down onto the Tengus and pretty much stopping this attack in its tracks. YuiYui dropping down more power plants. He's trying to block off the line of sight for those Tengus. Tengu's taking a bit of damage. YuiYui might be trying to pull in Apollos to catch these Tengus off guard, but it's only 2 Apollos. And this game will stretch on a little bit more. Now, Kimmy may, I think with the heroic Tengus, he should have enough. He does. YuiYui gets the kill on the heroic Tengu, gets the kill on another Tengu, eliminates 2 Tengus, but trades them for 2 Apollos and then passes that veterancy around like a hotcake. So unfortunately for Yui, it's not going to really be ending in his favor. More power plants going down the airfield, also getting eliminated. These Yari mini-subs being absolutely brutal, and every angle of engagement that Kimmy can possibly exploit, he is exploiting, but the clock is still running, and it's just a very long clock in this case. If YuiYui was able to eliminate the garage earlier in the game, if you would have cleaned up that oil derrick, even that would have helped. Although, again, it's not necessarily like, oh, just kill the oil derrick and you win the game. Easy, YuiYui. Why wouldn't you do that? But it would help. That cuts off just a little bit of income. Maybe trying to go for a few more harassment opportunities, looking for just Cryocopter Vindicator combos to kind of clean up the economy of Kimmy. Those are kind of the advantages that YuiYui needs that he has not been able to pull off. I mean, even like five Javelin Troopers inside of a Riptide, if he had managed to squeeze that out earlier in the game, that could have definitely done a lot of damage. 1 fully heroic Yari mini-sub, and the other 2 are just going to be regular old Yari mini-subs. That Assault Destroyer may be able to save the power plant. No, it is not able to save it. Another airfield does get deployed. A lot of airfields have been constructed for YuiYui, but it's not quite enough at this point. He finally has a spot for his aircraft to land. He can't quite get up to that tier 3 either, which means that artillery is just out of range for him. He can't use the blackout missiles to really clear the way for his units. More power plants may be getting cleaned up. One Tengu gets the kill on that Vindicator. This Assault Destroyer going to be forced to pull back. The Vindicator is going to be going for the bombing run, but one of these Harvesters will most likely be forfeit. Yari mini-subs crashing upon the units and structures of YuiYui. Can he hold the line? Another Assault Destroyer goes down. YuiYui may have been broken. Kimmy, with his multi-pronged attacks and engagements, looking for just the tier 1 opportunities of this game. He may have broken through. Another Vindicator goes down, passing along more and more veterancy to these Tengus. Look at that. 2 of them elite, 2 of them veteran, 1 of them is heroic, and 1 of them is just kind of lame. Oh, YuiYui, he needs to find an angle. I'm not even sure what the best opportunity for him is, but I mean, it's obviously he's got to do something. But against this constant aggro from Kimmy, what does he actually do? I'm not sure. Part 2. What? In the world? That's a weird person to see in the stream chat. At any rate, we do have more Riptides rolling up. Unfortunately, YuiYui freezing down a couple of his own Riptides. This one Tengu is indeed a hero, earning his pay in the Empire Army. And, oh my word, Kimmy is still just on that 2 refinery economy. This is actually kind of ridiculous, the amount of damage he's been able to do. These Yari mini-subs, every time they get locked down, they run away and they come in from another angle. Just constant production. The rally points must be going crazy in this game. And YuiYui has not been able to damage the infrastructure of Kimmy since, what was it, like the first 5 minutes of the game or something like that. It's just been constant attacks from Kimmy. YuiYui, he is struggling to hold on, but he is holding on. He is holding the line. Yari mini-subs going for their suicide run, potentially. No, they're just going to be going for a surround on the multi-gunner turret. He does go for the suicide run. Potentially able to clean up another power plant. YuiYui somehow still holding the line. On the right side, 2 Tengus have been able to escape this hydrofoil, which is now elite. And another naval yard does get deployed. Oh my word, this defensive play from YuiYui is just kind of crazy. He somehow held the line, and Kimmy, he can't break him. As many units as he has sacrificed in the name of victory, Kimmy cannot break YuiYui, and he's stuck in this rut. That MCV cell from earlier in this game has translated into this long, drawn-out, kind of awkward, scrappy back and forth play. That's the power plant that Kimmy needed. Can YuiYui actually just sell off one of his multi-gunner turrets just to bring these other guys back online to beat back the Tengus and to escape the terror of the harass from Kimmy? But again, the garage just never getting cleaned up. There's the ore refinery for YuiYui. And Kimmy no Uji He's still poking around with these Yari mini subs. I'm not actually sure how many he has out on the map. There's like 3, 4, maybe 5, 6 even in this game currently. Of course, he's built so many throughout this game. But YuiYui, he's starting. Wow, we have gone on long enough that YuiYui has purchased an entire leg of the tech tree for the top secret protocols. You can see he's got that. I don't even remember what it's called. That upgrade gets purchased so infrequently. I don't even remember what it's called. It's the like more efficient economy upgrade. So now instead of like the 250, which he would normally get, he's getting 312. Man, that extra cash money could be what he needs to finally hold off Kimmy once and for all and break through. Although the number of Riptides that YuiYui has produced is certainly going to be leading him. Oh no. Leading him to somewhere. I don't know where those extra Riptides are going to be leading him. Maybe to Victory Town, maybe to Crazy Town. Okay. All right. It looks like it's just an engineer. The sudden transport on the right side is just going to be for the engineer, but YuiYui has crafted an army. He's macroed up to a point of safety. I don't know that the timer is still running for Kimmy. Oh my word, he's down to just a few thousand credits left. Only about 4 grand left between the 2 oil derricks, and then he is out of time. He is out of money, and that's pretty much going to be the end. He knows that. That's what this engineer is all about. That is what this engineer is going to hopefully do for him, but what can he possibly do? The MCV is the obvious target, that big, that big expense. YuiYui asking in the game chat, why do they call me the turret spammer? I mean, I don't understand. Of course, being a little bit sarcastic, being a little bit funny. But this is just crazy. Yeah, YuiYui, 7 refineries. Or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Potentially going to be moving up to the 7. I mean, he's got income for days. He's also going to be running out of money in his main base, but I mean, that's the refinery he has to worry about next. And with that additional income, he's going to be a little bit happy. Now, Hydrofoil's leading the charge. The transform from the Tengus is going to allow the Tengus to get some nice shots off here. They're not actually going to be enough to eliminate the Hydrofoil, and that gun jammer is going to be enough to scare away those Hydrofoils. But again, the Yari mini-subs darting in and out, taking places where they can, and taking their attacks when and where they can. Yeah, you may be on that, extreme economy advantage, but if you keep losing harvesters and refineries, you won't be on as big of an advantage. And I feel like YuiYui has something against building ground units. Okay, so he spots the sudden transport. That's what that was about. But the sudden transport hasn't been able to do anything. There's 2 engineers inside of here. Will they either one of them be able to do anything? Maybe. Nope. The answer is indeed no. And these Tengus, they're in the sky, but they cannot do anything against this many defensives. And goodbye, engineer. I mean, that's 1,000 credits down the drain. That's got to put a dent in the production of Kimmy. He does still have those 2 harvesters, but no, he's into depleted zone. All right, guys. If YuiYui loses from this point, it will either be the most incredible play that we have ever seen in Red Alert 3, or it'll be the biggest throw we've ever seen in Red Alert 3. Oh, blackout missile. Does it lock down the aircraft or the airfield? No, it does not. It's just going to be that one multi-gunner turret, but that will open up a bit of an opportunity here. However, YuiYui is now up to that tier 3. He's now up to that position where he can get out the artillery, and I feel like building some ground units would be a good idea. Maybe, just, you know, at some point, maybe build some ground units. Maybe build something that isn't aircraft or naval. And the Tengu is coming in to shoot down the drones from the aircraft carrier. Oh my word. This game, it's going on even longer. And I feel like at this point, there's no way for Kimmy to win, right? Right? There's like no way for Kimmy to win. All right, I need to check something. Does Yui just have infinite money? He's only got 4 grand. How is he? I don't even understand. I guess maybe a second MCV at some point. I mean, 4 grand is quite a bit to be floating. But he either needs a second MCV or more production structures. He needs something. He just needs to overwhelm and outproduce his opponent. You just go on the offensive, YuiYui. Finally, Assault Destroyer is going to be moving out. They will be able to clean up this naval yard, and that'll take away half of the problems of YuiYui. Or nearly half. I mean, it won't exactly take away half because there's still... somewhere out on the map, there are Yari mini-subs lurking the waters, looking for their next target. Like the opportunists that they are, the Tengus go for the big transform, and these Yari mini-subs, oh, an elite Yari mini-sub utilized to eliminate a multi-gunner turret. Not something you see very often. Finally, Kimmy is being broken. His main base will be razed to the ground, and YuiYui, I don't know that there's any way he does not go up 2-1 in this best-of-7 series. It's still a long road to hoe. This is the grand finals, but Kimmy... oh my word, Kimmy is just going to be doing even more damage. He has to be stopped here, right? Hydrofoil here on the ground for YuiYui is going to be able to clean up. No, he's not going to be able to clean up any Tengus, but an extra multi-gunner turret does indeed get thrown down here. He is indeed going to be able to hold the line. I mean, I don't know why Kimmy is still in this game. He's got, like... one building left. There's the GG coming down, and Kimmy will be dropping from this game. There we go. There's it. There it indeed does happen. And the 2-1. Well, I actually think I added that to the wrong player. There's the 2-1 score once it updates. There we go. And YuiYui manages to take that game in just 25 minutes of just ridiculous aggression from Kimmy. I mean, take a look at this economy graph. This is 70,000 credits versus 140K almost for YuiYui. Double income after, you know, like the first 6 minutes, just slowly progressing towards that double income. And YuiYui able to do it. He's up 2-1, but this best of 7 will continue on. All right, welcome to Temple Prime. We have spawning on the left side, the man down 1-2 in this best of 7 series, the grand finals of the Red3.org Christmas tournament. It is Kimmy no Uji. That is indeed right. But who's the man, the monster, the Alchemist that he is against? The man on the right, the Cyan allies from Team NACL. It's YuiYui. And I don't know, suck 6? Like, is he trying to say success? I don't know. I don't actually know. Javelin Troopers being mixed in. YuiYui may want to eliminate some of the buildings on this map. I know some people don't like the placement of the buildings, the amount of the buildings on this map. They, you know, just generally dislike the buildings. And sometimes that's why you end up seeing those Javelin Troopers. Of course, the engineer is going to be kiting out along the south side, looking to come in from more of an angle down by the water to eliminate any opportunity that that Kimmy will have to clean up that engineer. Oh no, guys, it's happening. It is happening. One refinery turret push from YuiYui. I said I wanted him to mix it up. This is not exactly what I meant when I was saying that. I was thinking, you know, more of like mech-based play, something with a war factory involved, something like that. Nice control there from YuiYui. Not losing a single peacekeeper. Oh my word, you guys saw that, right? That was silly. That was silly what just happened. But where's the MCV? Here we go. MCV, this is why we call him the Alchemist, because things sometimes get explosive. Mecha Bay is coming down, but the dojo as well. And I don't know for sure that Kimmy saw this, but he should know it's coming in a few moments. Yeah, he's got the dojo core in here. He's like, there's no reason you should not have 2 refineries at this point. This is just way too little economy for you to be going for something standard. YuiYui pushing forward. He's got the Javelin Troopers in there. He's got that extreme DPS if they are controlled correctly. And Kimmy, he's bringing out the Tengus. Of course, that's a good reaction from him. Now, this Dojo Core, is he going to be using it straight up for crushes, or is he going to be looking to deploy it? Oh, actually, in the north, if he starts seeding in a couple of tank busters, he may be able to eliminate this refinery, and that would definitely put YuiYui in an awkward position. Peacekeeper is going to be able to eliminate some of these units, and this is why some players do not like the buildings on this map. Is Javelin Troopers inside of there, Tank Busters inside of there can just be so incredibly powerful. The multi-gunner turret gets dropped down. This refinery is going to be under siege, and Kimmy Can... Oh my word, Kimmy is not going to be in a very good position. There we've got the dual racks up in the north, but he needs to just mass out, spam as many units as he can, and he has to be careful about his engagements. He can't engage around the multi-gunner turrets. The Peacekeepers do clean up the majority of those Imperial Warriors. The Imperial Warriors get another kill on another Javelin Trooper, but there's still 4 of them remaining. The laser locks may be too strong, and more Imperial Warriors are bonsai charging their way to the front. It's not going to be enough. The MCV is coming off the line, getting the crushes that it needs. There's still 4 more Javelin Troopers on the front lines. Can Kimmy actually break this line? He's streaming in more infantry from the north side. That dojo is not going to be used for some sort of counterattack, and Kimmy is under constant assault. So many Javelin Troopers just pumping out rockets towards him, and the Turret King is maybe going to be usurped by indeed YuiYui. No, the sell-off of the MCV. This engineer is hightailing it for the woods. The tier 2 on that Mecha Bay means that we can get some tsunami tanks, but it's just simply not going to be enough. I don't think there's any way for Kimmy to take this game. YuiYui is just too strong. And even after this, Kimmy doesn't have a great map pool left after this match, so GG comes down. Kimmy no Uji drops down 1-3 versus YuiYui in a fast and furious game. So maybe some of you didn't like how long that last match lasted. Well, here's a match to make up for it, because that was just fast and furious in just over 4 minutes. YuiYui takes it up 3-1. It's match point, fellas. This is a best of 7. We're going to be heading into the next game right after this. Welcome to Snowplow. It's game number 5. It's match point. For the man in the north from NACL, it's YuiYui. And in the south, the Blue Empire player, he needs your support. He needs your cheers. It is Kimmy no Uji. Oh. I don't know if you guys can read the chat, but YuiYui is like, hey man, if I go dual racks all in, you know you're going to lose. Kind of like, hey, I can take this game. I can take this series if I want. But he's like, oh, I'm not. Lucky for you, I'm not. However, he is going fast airfield. Is it going to be immediately into cryocopters? Well, we shall see. Refinery should be coming down. There's no walls over here, so maybe it's just going to be into a turret push. There's the pack up of the MCV. And, yeah, Kimmy is like, this looks like cryocopters to me. He may not be wrong, just because the MCV can still deploy here, get that tier 2 up, and then still have a good radius to place down turrets in the middle of the map. But, you know, it's not necessarily going to be cryocopters, but yeah, it's probably going to be cryocopters, let's be honest. It's probably going to be cryocopters. I mean, at the same time, it's not like Yui is not going to go for a turret push or something like that. Oh my word, is it not going to be cryocopters? He really might not be going for cryocopters. And I don't know if you guys heard me a little while ago when I said I feel like I have no idea what's going on in these games. I feel like I have no idea what's going on in these games. MCV move out from Kimmy. YuiYui, of course, has the advantage anytime there's MCV moves with the multi-gunner turrets. His defenses are just so much more powerful. Kimmy, on the other hand, doesn't have the same strength in his defenses. MCV getting deployed, he can, of course, take this refinery without too much problem, and technically, right now, Kimmy has just a ridiculous eco advantage over YuiYui. We'll see how that actually translates if Kimmy is able to get up units. He might just... Oh, he didn't actually build a Mecha Bay either, though. So it may have been a good idea for him to go Naval Yard out here, go Tier 2, and then start pumping tsunami tanks. But, at the same time, he has to deal with the aircraft of his opponent, and of course tsunami tanks notoriously do not shoot up. And they kind of have that as a disadvantage, if you want to call it that. But there's the airfield on the front lines. YuiYui is looking to do something nasty, and Kimmy... He's just like, all right, you want to play funky? I can play funky. I'm moving my MCV as well. And actually, he may be going for the oil derrick on the right side, going to be capturing that, getting that extra eco, helping to make up for any difference between him and YuiYui. But now, I mean, they're technically still not even on equal income until YuiYui takes a oil derrick for himself or an extra refinery. But Kimmy actually is going to be able to clean up that airfield. YuiYui has to evacuate everything to the south side of the map, going to be passing along that veteran seat to a couple of his Imperial Warriors. Tank Buster's eating through a couple of these segments. Not sure if Kimmy is going to be able to do too much more to the main base of YuiYui that really matters. I mean, the airfield has already been rebuilt here. He's got 2 multi-gunner turrets, and Kimmy, I mean, it's hard to say that he has to hit Yui with something crazy when Yui strikes like this early on. And more Tank Busters just coming out to pump down those buildings. Vindicator's going out on bombing runs, and YuiYui taking a little bit of damage to his MCV, but the Vindicators, of course, they need to refuel. And then if YuiYui is on top of his bomb splitting, he can defeat, like, what is it, like, I don't even know, man. 5 Imperial Warriors. He can kill 5 Imperial Warriors with 3 Vindicators, I believe is what that ratio is. Tank Busters in the north, making sure that there's no power plants for them to kill. Dual racks also for Kimmy. And these 2 players, they've kind of swapped positions at this point, although... Oh no, YuiYui, his Harvester is bugged. He needs to get back on top of that. He should see it considering he's right over by here, dropping bombs and microing and things. But Kimmy still has that economy advantage over YuiYui. I mean, 1 refinery versus 1 refinery, 2 oil derricks. And Kimmy might actually be able to take more oil derricks in the next couple of minutes. Or not more oil derricks, excuse me, more ore refineries. As Kimmy pushes forward, Imperial Warriors closing down, but I mean these Vindicators should be able to clean up the forces of Kimmy. But YuiYui, can he deal with the reinforcements? Kimmy, can he actually get up any units that are really any good? He's very close to getting out another refinery, produces it right there, and that's where as a Empire player you're just like, oh my word, that extra 500 credits is just crazy expensive to me at this point, you know, relatively speaking. MCV packing up for the repairs. YuiYui going to be cleaning up a couple more Imperial Warriors, dropping just a few bombs there, splitting properly. Good for him. Just microing as best as he can. Another Imperial Warrior gets eliminated. The MCV able to get that kill there. Oil derricks. Again, captured pretty early on by Kimmy. He, of course, gets the 500 credits cash back. And then on top of that, he's also getting all of the income. The longer and longer that this game stretches out, it's just going to be a bit more beneficial for him. Multi-gunner turret, unfortunately, may not actually be able to save this ore collector. It's going to be pretty close anyways. That ore collector did take quite a bit of damage, and actually... Oh, Kimmy's ore collector still does survive. The Apollo going for the scout. YuiYui wants to know exactly what Kimmy has going on. Kimmy's just sitting on that 1 refinery, but he's still got both of those oil derricks. And YuiYui, as powerful as his turrets may be, can he transition out of this very weird position that he's in? Kimmy has not been able to get up a mecha bay. He has not been able to get up a naval yard. He's just sticking on this 1 dojo. And I don't know that that is the answer. I don't know that he can produce enough infantry fast enough to really kill off YuiYui. I mean, we'll see. But YuiYui with the Vindicator air superiority, I feel like he's in such a good position. Ooh, and this refinery core pops out right in front of those Vindicators. Oh, man. Oh, Kimmy, that has to hurt. And on top of that, YuiYui gets the perfect cryo shot onto those tank busters. Kimmy is just falling apart, being frozen and crushed by YuiYui. Oh my word, this game just went so far downhill. That 2,500 credits in the ground. The tank buster surprise, which, I mean, you don't even see that often, but it just gets perfectly frozen down and just destroyed. Oh. There is the chat going on. I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't seen the GG, but Kimmy knows that this is his lifeline. If he loses here, we go to a best of 5, and he has to defeat YuiYui in that best of 5 to take this tournament. Of course, double elimination leads us into this extended series format. And, I mean, still more games have to be played for Kimmy to take this tournament. He has to, again, take basically 3 games in a row, and this game is not looking promising. Again, maybe if you would have been able to get up a Mecha Bay earlier in the game, get up some of those units like Tengus that can... And On top of that, he loses the power plant that's just constructing. If he would have been able to maybe get up the Tengus to maybe get some harassment out on Yui and do a bit more damage, have some sort of air superiority, but he's got no anti-air infantry. He's got no really early game options that he can utilize to lock down these aircraft in a realistic way. I mean, he has to trap aircraft on the airfield and kill them there, which does give YuiYui the opportunity to do this sort of stuff, where he lands for just a couple of moments, he refuels, gets the bombs he needs, drops them, and immediately lands again, and of course that breaks up the attack pattern of any units. And I mean, Kimi is splitting actually off a couple of dojos. Huh. Some crazy infantry play may be called for. YuiYui, he's got those 3 refineries cooking. He's got that oil derrick as well. And he's pushing forward more and more of these Vindicators coming out. He will get the kill on that Harvester, which really, that's the main source of income for Kimi. There's not a whole lot else that Kimi can do. YuiYui even pushing out a little bit further with his Vindicators. He wants the scout. He wants that info. He wants to know what Kimi has. What does Kimi not have? Because keeping an eye on these dojo cores this is the saving grace of Kimi. This is his opportunity to get back into this game in a really big way, is these dojo cores. Maybe a sneaky engineer, maybe a couple of extra tank busters that he needs to really crack through the base of YuiYui. YuiYui has got this dojo on the right side on lockdown. That's, of course, not going to be very good for Kimi. Oh no, YuiYui didn't even drop the bombs. He eliminates that dojo as well, streaming more and more Peacekeepers on the right side of the map. YuiYui has this game on lockdown, and he's not letting Kimi get away with any fancy moves. There's the MCV cell. This kind of has to be all in. Again, technically, Kimi can rebuild, but realistically, he is all in at this point. These are his only options. This engineer is probably hoping to grab the MCV of his opponent. Then he can sell that, get another engineer, and potentially cap one of the airfields. That would potentially give him a leg to stand on. But as it stands, he's just falling over, and he's got nowhere left to fall except into another best of 5, where then it kind of refreshes. You know, he gets a minute to breathe. But I mean, YuiYui, he gets the momentum from taking out the guy who's the winner's bracket finalist who beat YuiYui in an earlier game in this series. YuiYui gets the knowledge of knowing he just took him out in a best of 7. That momentum is huge, just psychologically speaking. It's a big deal for YuiYui. And he's got the Peacekeepers to crack through this. And this sudden transport, seeing that refinery, he's like, oh, you have a refinery over here. And these 3 Vindicators, wow, 2 of them elite, 1 of them a veteran, should be enough to crack through this sudden transport in the south. I'm assuming YuiYui saw it. He may not have seen it, but again, I'm assuming he did. And this is the hope. This is the dream for Kimi. No, Yui actually did not see it, so Kimi technically does have an idea that he can take this game. There's a beacon coming in, and actually, if this building goes down, that is it. That's the end of the game for Kimi if this building goes down. No, the sudden transport gets eliminated. Goodbye. GG comes up. The well played happens, and YuiYui takes the 4-1 victory over Kimi no Uji. And that is going to seal out the winner's bracket grand final part 1, if you want to call it that. But there's the 4-1 score for YuiYui. He's progressing on forward. Scoreboard update, please. Scoreboard. Oh, my word, my mouse. There we go. We got the 4-1 there. And, of course, YuiYui in that game. I don't even have any post-game thoughts for that. It was just so wonky, so crazy. Kimi ahead in the eco so much until towards the end. But, I mean, really, if we look at this over the course of 11 minutes, this is not a good amount of eco for 11 minutes. That is not a huge discrepancy. So while that looks like a big gap, it is not quite that big. But we're jumping into a best of 5 in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome to the extended series, because this is the grand final extended series best of 5. And spawning as the Cyan allies on the right side, it is YuiYui. And on the left side, we have the Yellow Empire player, Kimi no Uji. AVE for the finals. I think everyone can agree that this is a pretty good matchup and something that we were more likely to see either last year, well, even earlier last year we were more expecting to see it, but in this case we have ourselves a non-mirror matchup grand finals for the Red 3 Christmas tournament. YuiYui able to take a best-of-7 series 4-1 off of Kimi no Unji, which means we are now into the extended series part of it. There's the refinery, there's the pack-up of the MCV, and it's into a turret push, boys! This is not going to be a standard game really at all. Kimi, he's blocked on both of those refineries, and he's also got the scout on this attack that's coming in. Now, this Peacekeeper is probably going to, well, he was probably going to try to clear up that burst drone, but Kimi is going to be like, okay, you're going for the turret push. I need a lot of infantry. As you can see, he's pumping out just tons of Imperial Warriors, adding on some Tank Busters as well. Of course, Tank Busters a bit more expensive, but you've also got that extra anti-vehicle DPS to deal with turrets, barracks, and also the MCV itself. Javelin Troopers being added on, of course, a good choice here for YuiYui. Pretty standard as far as what you would expect to see. And oh, that burst drone just going to be absolutely annoying for YuiYui. Not a huge deal by any means, but definitely annoying for YuiYui to deal with. YuiYui, he's going to be looking to maybe deploy on the high ground. Kimi is leading with his own MCV. Of course, that damage sponge as it can be. And this is just going to become a very awkward situation. Kimi taking a little bit of damage on his MCV, not a tremendous amount at this point. The MCV of YuiYui trying to find an opportune angle to kind of block off or crush his opponent's units, if at all possible. Peacekeepers are actually getting some pretty nice damage here, and now the actual laser locking has begun. There's the Bonsai Charge rushing in here. The MCV messing up so much the pathing of Red Alert 3, and now that Dojo does come in. It does get some nice kills there, and most of the Imperial Warriors have been eliminated. A couple more do get crushed there, and Kimi no Uji maybe dropping out of this first game to some powerful infantry play from YuiYui. There's the sell-off of the MCV. The Engineer does get pulled back. The Bonsai Charge of the Imperial Warriors forward should gain them a couple of Javelin Trooper kills. Maybe not very many, but at least a couple of them do go down there. And actually one of those Imperial Warriors went all the way up to Heroic. And they may actually clean up a couple more Javelin Troopers, which would be unfortunate for YuiYui. Kimi no Uji going to be pushing further forward even more, and that oil derrick somehow did manage to survive. YuiYui establishing himself out on the water, and this Engineer is indeed going to be heading over there, but YuiYui is guarding his MCV with a dog. And Kimi, he's pushed him back. He's pushed YuiYui back, and as long as... Oh, Kimi, turn around! Okay, yeah, he activates the speed boost on that Engineer just to get him out of there. But of course, YuiYui from this point, he's got a few more options. Those turrets can come in mighty, mighty handy, but with no Mecha Bay and no MCV, it's just going to be infantry-based play. And of course, that basically means that YuiYui can just sit over here with his airfield, and he basically wins the game by default because there's nothing that really Kimi can do to kill that off, or at least not efficiently. And a couple of Apollos can shoot down basically any number of burst drones. So YuiYui, with some very good decision-making, has got himself a nearly unlosable spot in this game. Again, as long as he doesn't just suicide in and just do something absolutely crazy. Now, the Shinobi is kind of the only real option that he has, but even then, is not quite going to be enough. He was able to eliminate the dog, which is good, and he's going to be able to lock down the Konyard, which I don't even remember what that does. I know it messes up the radar, and I think it shuts down the production queue for a little while, but it's been so long. And burst drones, yeah, that's about the only real option that Kimi has. There should be, I believe there's a way to splash damage burst drones onto buildings. For example, if the Vindicator is on the airfield and the burst drone blows up, then the burst drone should do some splash damage to the airfield. But in this case, burst drone was not actually, or the Vindicator was not actually on the ground. And Vindicator will survive. One more burst drone may be enough to clean it up. The refinery gets eliminated. YuiYui does have very little income, but both players do have an oil derrick, which is good. And YuiYui is going to have to deal with just constant engineers going for his MCV. There's the pack up, which, I mean, really, that's the only thing that YuiYui can do. And, ooh, A little bit of a visual bug there with the MCV kind of disappearing for a couple of seconds. Burst Drone will be able to finally eliminate that Vindicator, but now the airfield is indeed clean. It's clear of any units for Burst Drones to attack onto. And ooh, that Prospector managing to escape is a pretty big deal for YuiYui. He can, of course, establish himself up here, and I'm not actually sure how much cash that YuiYui has. 1 grand, and that's not... He doesn't have a power plant anywhere on the map, and he also does not have a refinery, which, of course, limits his options. But with that oil derrick, technically, he still can survive a little bit longer. Kimi no Uji would be wise to kill off that oil derrick, and that's exactly what he's doing. Ooh! I don't know if I agree with that. That command hub placement is a little bit awkward. Cryocopters are now out. Which, I mean, this can lock down the airfield potentially, but the Cryocopter is just a little bit too good. And Kimi, oh my word, this game... I'm not actually sure what's going to be happening in this game. The Cryocopter is going to have to kind of micro for its life, and there's actually, like, no Vindicators out on the map. There's basically nothing to really do any damage. He needs to cancel one of these units to get the other one out in time, and these Burst Drones, they may actually be able to get the kill on this Cryocopter eventually, but it's going to take so many Burst Drones with that repair. Oh. Both of the structures getting locked down. Oh, Kimi no Uji. I don't even know what to say. Just dual burst drone production is not something you see very often, and he is not willing to give this game up. YuiYui going for the quick kind of turret push, which went south as Kimi no Uji was actually able to hold the line with a lot of infantry and overwhelm the forces of YuiYui. The command hub is now gone, and YuiYui, I mean, he doesn't exactly have the cash anymore, especially after going for the Cryocopter, to do very much. He is going to be able to shut down the Tier 2 barracks, which will eliminate the Shinobis, and now it's just this Tier 1 barracks, and I mean, technically, he does have the income, technically, Kimi does have the income to get another Tier 2 barracks, but Burst Drones for the win. And, I mean, when you sell your MCV early on, you kind of have to know you're going to be taking this risk. Oh, my word, the MCV has been sold for YuiYui as well. All right, Burst Drones are going to be getting shot down one by one. Can Kimi actually target and dogpile onto this Burst Drone, or onto this Apollo? Well, he's got one Burst Drone. The second one manages to latch on there, and this Apollo will survive, albeit barely. Another couple of Burst Drones could be enough to finish it off, but no, it's just more engineers, which is not good because there's a Cryocopter and a Riptide, which again, YuiYui, I don't even know anymore. This game is just so weird. He's got an engineer, he's got a Riptide. If he can kill the barracks, he's going to be in a much better position. Kimi not activating that special ability. Oh my word, is he going to have to shoot down one of his own units? Kimi is just going for Harvester production, queuing up 5 Harvesters. And, I mean, unfortunately, they can't load up those engineers to transport them out here, but he's going to try to clear away the engineer, potentially even the Riptide of YuiYui. YuiYui forcing the sell-off of that, of the power plant. Kimi spreading out his infantry all along the right side of the map to make sure that YuiYui doesn't actually have anything to deal with, or to rebuild on. And this is a game. This is a game. I don't know. I mean, obviously Kimi is in a bad spot, but he's the one with, like, actual income. I guess maybe not after this refinery or harvester gets eventually frozen down now that a Vindicator is out, but YuiYui, he's been able to do it. He's been able to break through a little bit here. And he's cleaned up a barracks. He's cleaned up the refinery. So, I mean, really, oh my word. This is, we're actually watching this. Is these prospectors chasing around a Riptide. Oh my word, the engineer gets cleaned up. The Vindicator to the rescue is going to be able to save that one lonely Riptide. There we go. There we go. Things are cleaning up. There's one refinery left, which is technically a production structure. Technically. But the Vindicator is out. The Cryocopter has no real competition now that the burst drones have been eliminated. And in this base race scenario, I feel like the Ice King of YuiYui, the Alchemist, is going to be winning. Did he just... Okay, he must have gotten high technology, right? That Cryocopter now can shrink... Is shrinks longer or what? I don't actually remember. High technology upgrade. Guardian tanks... I'm not actually sure. I believe it's the shrink either lasts longer or it cools down faster. But Kimmy is going to be getting frozen out of this game. Fully heroic Vindicator. Just freeze down the power plant, YuiYui. Freeze down the power plant and you have this game. He's even going to be freezing down this harvester. He wants to give nothing away. He wants to take no chances. As long as he guards against any engineers. Kimmy's just like, I guess that's a GG again. But that does it. Game number 1 goes to YuiYui. This best of 5 starting out extremely weird. But we will have our victor by the end of today. And who is it going to be? Well, if things continue in this fashion, it is going to be YuiYui. That game was just weird. Just weird. All right, welcome to game number 2. Spawning as the Cyan Allies in the bottom left corner. From NACL, he's up 1-0. It is YuiYui. And in the top right corner as the Green Empire player, we do have Kimmy no Uji. It's a best of 5, folks. Things aren't over. It's not match point yet. But Kimmy no Uji, he has the opportunity to make the comeback happen. He only has to win a couple of more games, 3 games to be precise. I mean, more than a couple, to win this entire tournament. The Red3.org Christmas Tournament for 2014, our second annual Christmas tournament. YuiYui, he is the returning reigning champ from last year. He got knocked down by Kimmy in like the winner's bracket quarterfinals of this event, and he has clawed his way through the loser's bracket, past Waff the Wolf the Machine, to make it all the way back here to the grand finals to have his revenge on Kimmy. And so far, it's working out well for YuiYui. YuiYui pushing in. Is he just going dual racks? He's walling in his second refinery. I'm not actually sure if he's just going to continue this dual racks for too much longer. As you can see, he's a little bit strapped for cash. Sells off one of the racks. Probably going to be getting some extra couple of units. One last engineer, hoping he can grab both of the oil derricks. But of course, we saw this earlier. I mean, that big cash boost for the Empire player by grabbing both of those oil derricks early on can be quite good. However, it's not game deciding, I would say, by any means. I mean, I guess it could be, but most games come down to bigger decisions, bigger mistakes than that. There's the MCV. It's kind of on an awkward position to be going for a third and or fourth refinery over here. Is he just going to be heading straight up the middle? Well, Kimmy might be spotting this, and this is how Kimmy won game number 1 of the original best of 7. Fire Island, YuiYui pushed up the center, but in that case, Kimmy was allowed to play a lot more macro. He was allowed to get up a lot more units, and also, I mean, this just happened a lot later. This push happened a lot later for YuiYui. So in this case, Kimmy, I mean, he's grabbed back the oil derrick in the south, but in the north, YuiYui still controls that one. And I mean, Dual Dojo is what kind of saved Kimmy in the previous game on this map, but this is a lot more Peacekeepers than YuiYui had. Although that's a great crush coming out here from YuiYui, or from Kimmy. That's a lot of dead Peacekeepers for YuiYui. That has severely thinned the numbers, but it's not quite enough because YuiYui still has more units. Another dojo going to be coming down, a multi-gunner turret as well. This is looking a bit like a repeat of the last game, but the outcome may be a bit different. Can he get the kill there? No, he actually doesn't kill off the refinery. One of the Javelin Troopers does go down, and that Imperial Warrior may not actually be able to escape away to kill off the Javelin Trooper. No, Harvester, please kill the Javelin Trooper. Stop targeting that one Peacekeeper with his shield up. Kimmy, please control a little bit better. YuiYui is almost ready to drop down another multi-gunner turret, I would assume. Goodbye, Refinery, as it gets eliminated. Second multi-gunner turret drops down, and YuiYui is setting himself up in a powerful defensive position. He can expand backwards to a third refinery if he wants. He can even drop down more production facilities, more turrets on the front line if he wants. But he's not out of the woods yet. A dojo core on the side, the Mecha Bay as well, potentially researching up to that tier 2, although that would be a pretty big expenditure. YuiYui going to be annoying, deploying a dog on the right side of the map just to mark, hey, when are you going to take your third refinery? I already killed your first third, so you're going to have to take another one. And if he's able to deny that third as well, then that could definitely be a good situation for YuiYui. The airfield is constructed. YuiYui could be going tier 2, although he has not just yet. Cryocopters, of course, any aircraft really are going to be extremely powerful, but cryocopters in particular. The first tsunami tank is out. That's tier 2. This is no Tengus out on the map, but Striker VXs do have the possibility, which means any aircraft units are going to be largely unmatched from YuiYui. Kimmy just doesn't have a lot of stuff that shoots up. Now, Vindicators coming in, dropping their bombs, but the adaptive armor is going to be saving that one tsunami tank. Those nano deflectors are going to be allowing it to survive a little bit longer. It should go ahead and get back and get some repairs. It is about up to half HP. But Kimmy no Uji, can he push forward? Can he actually make the final call happen? Well, we shall see. YuiYui may have overextended the MCV, taking some direct damage. Multi-gunner turrets aren't going to be fantastic versus infantry, but losing a single Imperial Warrior isn't a huge deal. This MCV taking quite a bit of damage. There's going to be the deploy of that multi-gunner turret. It can start focusing down that ore refinery, and the MCV is going to be forced to chase away. But this is not game-winning just yet. Kimmy no Uji clearing out more Javelin Troopers, more Peacekeepers, trying to keep the numbers for YuiYui low. YuiYui bombing away a barracks, not allowing the barracks to get up, and another engineer to capture back that oil derrick for Kimmy no Uji. Kimmy going to be chasing around that MCV, but he's losing another ore harvester and another ore refinery. That's even less income for Kimmy, and considering that YuiYui currently controls both of those oil derricks and just got a 100% repair on his MCV, he's going to be in pretty good shape. And that's a pretty well misplaced cryo shot, as we see right there. YuiYui, he is just tearing Kimmy no Uji apart. And the Vindicators coming in, bombing away one of the tsunami tanks. YuiYui not going for the crushes. He can't split around that one tsunami tank. It's just a little bit too fast here from Kimmy. Kimmy has managed to hold the line. There's the MCV cell. No, it gets sniped basically immediately. A great play there from YuiYui. Cleans up the sudden transport as well. The total decimation of Kimmy no Uji. Every trick he's tried to pull up his sleeve has just not worked out. The Alchemist is reigning supreme. And there's an engineer somewhere. YuiYui actually grabs the war factory of his opponent. That Mecha Bay now belongs to YuiYui, and the production capabilities of Kimmy no Uji have basically been cut down to these 2 racks, one of which is basically a dead racks. And now YuiYui just securing his victory even more, producing a single Chopper VX. He's like, oh, cool, GG. I didn't quite notice that, but that engineer, absolutely a very important thing that happened in this game. I don't know what else to say about it, but YuiYui goes up 2-0 in the best of 5 versus Kimmy no Uji and takes himself to the match point. An incredible road to victory is YuiYui having right now, or Kimmy no Uji. Can he strike back, make the comeback real, and finish out this best of 5 with a 3-0 clean sweep of YuiYui? We shall see. Welcome to game number 3. This best of 5 is indeed heating up. YuiYui taking that 2-0 victory lead over the man in the top right. It is the Orange Empire, Kimmy no Uji. And the man in the bottom left, I just said his name. He is Cyan Allies and YuiYui from Team NACL, going for interesting walls. Okay, so he's probably doing the same kind of extended wall thing that he was doing before, which just allows him to, I'm guessing, just section off his main base a little bit. Uh-oh. My encoder was just telling me that it's dropping frames. Hopefully, it clears itself up there. Hopefully the stream isn't affected too much. The game seems to be running pretty fine. A couple of moments here and there. But we'll see if we can do anything about that. At the same time, this Dojo Core going for the crushes in the middle of the map. And also these Imperial Warriors looking to clear out these buildings as much as they possibly can. Wait a second. All right, there's the MCV for a second there. I thought Kimi no Uji was doing something crazy again, but it is indeed that match point sort of stressful situation. Kimi no Uji saying surprise. I don't know why. I'm assuming it's in response to YuiYui saying he's tired because, yeah, we've been going for 8 hours. These guys have been playing since the beginning of the tournament. It is a long, hard day for them. And hopefully they will be able to just continue on, press forward, and do some more action for us. Of course, battle-based beta can kind of lead to this very center-focused gameplay. One player controls one building, the other player controls the other building, and they are doing their absolute best to just keep the other player out of the middle of the map. But how well can they actually do? Well, in this case, pretty well for Kimi no Uji. There's a second refinery for YuiYui. Drops down the multi-gunner turret as well, of course, considerably later than even the third refinery of Kimi no Uji was almost faster than the second refinery of YuiYui because of how many peacekeepers he pumped out. Just a crazy number of infantry. And he's like, playing terrible. Yeah, I'm only up 2-0 in a best of 5 after winning 4-1 in a best of 7. Like, oh, I'm playing so awful, says YuiYui. But the Mecha Bay coming on out for Kimi no Uji. Oil derrick grabbed for YuiYui. Of course, Kimi no Uji going to be at that one expansion up over YuiYui. Not sure what YuiYui's follow-up is going to be, if it's just going to be straight up for the third expansion, or if he's going to be going Naval Yard for a couple of Riptides before that, you know, something like that, mixing things up a little bit. He does have options that he can look for. Imperial Warriors getting shot up in the middle of the map. Kimi no Uji donating a few extra units. I would think more than he necessarily needs to, but he has cleaned up most of the Peacekeepers for YuiYui. And he may actually be able to just hold this building and clear out this oil derrick. It's going to be close either way, but he may be able to do that. There's the third expansion, and the third refinery, rather, for YuiYui. After this, I would be expecting to see an airfield. I mean, airfield should be coming down at some point for YuiYui, you would expect. Kimi no Uji cleaning up more peacekeepers and actually might be able to start targeting down this oil derrick now. But another dojo coming out. Lots of dojos today for Kimi no Uji. Continuing to pump out Imperial Warriors from the top of the ramp, but also Tengus on the back end of things. He is going to be able to transform those up and go for some Harvester harassment if he so chooses. Now you have to remember, in the main base, there's that multi-gunner turret, that static D that YuiYui does indeed have. Over on the right side of the map, we've got the Jet Tengus all ready to go for the harassment. They should go ahead and hit over here, although now, with that Naval Yard, they're going to have a considerably smaller opportunity to actually kill off that Harvester. In the middle of the map, Kimi no Uji still continuing to just pump forward more and more units. Eventually, he may be able to shoot down this oil derrick. It's just going to take him quite a while. And the Dojo Core on the front lines for Kimi is going to be able to eat through one of the, well, potentially eat through the walls of this refinery, help clear the way. And there goes the barracks. No more peacekeepers being produced for YuiYui. He's, of course, got the Naval Yard. He's, of course, got those Riptides, and actually going Tier 2. Could be going for the Assault Destroyer as well. And if at all possible, YuiYui, of course, wants to engage around the multi-gunner turret, but Kimi no Uji is not going to be allowing him to do that. He's going to be forcing the engagement elsewhere on the map, which is exactly what he wants to be doing. Killing off that Harvester is absolutely great. If he could kill off the refinery, it would be even better for him. Just having that bigger economic lead versus YuiYui, considering he already hasn't had an economic lead for the majority of this game, is just going to be putting them in such a nice position. A couple of actually heroic Imperial Warriors in this game already. YuiYui trying to just dart in and out, pull up and down, just trying to get in as much damage as he possibly can. And a naval yard coming out for Yui. For Kimi. Yui, on the other hand, with the assault destroyer pressing forward, could, of course, activate that black hole if he wants to absorb a bit of extra damage and save his Riptides. And can YuiYui be broken right here, right now? Kimi would love to go up 1-2 against YuiYui, but we shall see. Goodbye, Rax. It does get eliminated. Naval Yard heading out for Kimi, and I think Kimi might be able to just break YuiYui here. No, the cryo shot comes down on top of these units. Kimi not able to evacuate in time, and even if he is, he's going to be forced to go into the jaws of the meat grinder with the Riptide on one side, multi-gunner turret, and assault destroyer backing it up. It's going to be hard for Kimi to actually escape, but he's got Tengus on the fly. He's heading on out of there, and he is going to be able to escape at least for now. And more tank busters getting pushed through the middle of the map. That extra bit of DPS may be what Kimi no Uji needs to break YuiYui in this game number 3. Tengus on the kind of south side of the map could go for kind of the 6 o'clock base if they so choose. Could go for the kill on that Harvester and maybe even the Naval Yard, although I don't know if they would be able to get that much damage out before the Assault Destroyer shows up. Kimi no Uji, he's like, yeah, go ahead and crush this. Crush it. That honorable discharge is going to lead you to destroy your own structure at any rate. I mean, if he doesn't crush the units, if he doesn't kill off the Tengus that land, he's just going to end up losing the ore refinery. Otherwise, it's like, do you want to lose it to the honorable discharge, or do you want to lose it to the Tengu just shooting it down? Kimi no Uji, can this be the start of the comeback? He's cleaning up a power plant. He's cleaned up 2 of the harvesters, and because of the way, a refinery as well. 2 harvesters and a refinery, because he cleaned up that power plant as well. That could be affecting YuiYui's production. No, it looks like he's still online. He's still got that tier 2, and a spy would be a good way for YuiYui to get himself back into this game. But Kimi no Uji, it's most likely going to be going for more Yari mini-subs. Actually cancels whatever he was producing there. Maybe he just needs the extra bit of money. Maybe he wants to go for, instead of a Yari mini-sub, he wants to go for tier 2 or something like that. We shall see. He could just be trying to break Yui right here, right now, and it may work. Tengus in the sky. It looks like about 6 of them are up there. But the Assault Destroyer holds a lot of power for YuiYui. If Kimi can eliminate some of these buildings, if he can take down this refinery, that's a good first step into taking this game. And he's obviously not very happy about that. Ooh, the split does happen, but again, you avoid this cryo shot, and this is the great kind of problem that everyone has versus allies, is like, if you avoid the cryo shot, can you actually take the engagement that you're forced into because of it? And it looks like for now, Kimi, the answer is yes. He's getting lots of good shots off onto the Assault Destroyer. He's able to take that down without too much trouble. The Riptide is also going to be getting absolutely shredded here, and more tank busters pouring forth. They might actually be able to just kill off the MCV right here, right now. Kimi no Uji on the right side going to be pushing forward. 4 Yari mini-subs. We saw how effective he was able to use those in an earlier game. And the Con Yard is getting targeted down. Goodbye MCV. In just a couple of more shots, it will be blasted away by Kimi no Uji. The dog comes out, but it's not fast enough. On top of that, the Imperial Warriors are here. The GG, well played, comes out from YuiYui, and Kimi no Uji takes game number 3 to go 1-2 against YuiYui. And that will wrap up that game. Game number 4 is coming right up. Welcome to Snowplow and game number 4 of the Grand Finals, second best of 5. This is indeed the Yellow Empire player, Kimi no Uji, while in the south as the Cyan allies from the Saltiest Clan in Red Alert 3, it is YuiYui. And he has had an impressive run in this tournament, getting dropped down in the winner's bracket quarters by Kimi, then fighting his way all the way through the loser's bracket to make it back to the grand finals. Oh no, we have got a cryocopter rush on the way. YuiYui is like, hey, it worked for me last time, so we're gonna do it once again. Although it was definitely a very weird game on Snowplow last time. First Apollo heading out. He wants to get the full scout off. He wants to see exactly what Kimi no Uji is doing. And, I mean, potentially, I don't even know what you do versus this, because with the fast Apollo, you can't really get out anything to deal with the aircraft of your opponent, because the Tengu will just get shredded. Vindicator after that, the MCV going to be purchasing up that Tier 2, and actually YuiYui has walled in both of his refineries, so he's not purchasing Tier 2 just yet. He is going to be getting 2 refineries. Doesn't actually go for the crush on the Dojo core either. He's just going to be relying on his Vindicators to clean that up, and of course with the airfield being placed this closely, it is indeed possible to be locked down by the infantry on the ground, but YuiYui is not going to be allowing that. He's going to be pushing on forward. The Dojo does get eliminated. Kimi no Uji is pressing forward. This infantry play is what has to pretty much win him the game. Unless he can buy enough time to actually get out Mecha Bay units, which at this point is a long way away, he's going to have to win the game with defenses and with infantry. And YuiYui is known in many cases for this just nasty play of just down to the wire, very kind of dangerous stuff. And Kimi no Uji producing a couple of more dojos. He's got the oil derrick on the right side, potentially going to be grabbing the oil derrick on the left side as well. But can he hold off the oncoming tide? That is going to be YuiYui. Pumping away at this Konyard is a really good start for Kimi no Uji. He wants to make sure that he's got constant damage on that Konyard, but there's the 3rd refinery for YuiYui, going to be ensuring that he's got pretty good income. Now these Vindicators coming in, the splash damage is allowing them to clean up a couple of extra Imperial Warriors. Unfortunately for Kimi no Uji, he definitely does not want that to be happening, but in this case he did not spread his infantry quite well enough. 2 dojos being added on. I'm not sure actually what happened to the 3rd one. It's over here, going to be capturing that additional oil derrick, getting Kimi no Uji a little bit of an economic boost, but of course it should still be putting him behind the 3 refinery power of YuiYui. YuiYui bringing up something else. I'm not sure, it might just be another power plant added on to support his next level tactics. Yep, it's just another power plant, adding on those airfield or the Apollos as well. And Kimi no Uji, he finally gets up to that Mecha Bay play, and he sells off both of his racks. He really wants to keep around these Defender VXs. And I mean, this cryocopter play that YuiYui was allegedly going for is just not turning into that at all. YuiYui going to be systematically shutting down the power of Kimi no Uji, which is a good way to victory, and of course doubling all of the production times for Kimi no Uji. He still doesn't have that Tier 2. YuiYui actually stealing a 4th refinery, the 3rd refinery location, the natural expansion, if you will, of his opponent, turning it into his own, and that has just got to hurt. But Kimi no Uji does still have a chance in this game. YuiYui going to be kiting around the map with his Apollo. He wants to see exactly what is going on for Kimi no Uji and what exactly he is up to. The multi-gunner turret just going to make this position even harder to break for Kimi than it already is. Dojo core going to be pushing out, which that's the one thing that Kimi no Uji is known for in this series at least, is just a crazy amount of dojos. And YuiYui does a really good job of locking down dojos pretty consistently. The engineer I assumed was going to be to repair the MCV, but it seems like that is not actually the case for YuiYui. And of course, he types early game, hey, how do you feel about cryocopters? And then he doesn't go cryocopters for like the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game. He may not even now, he's not even researching the Tier 2 upgrade that he would need to produce those cryocopters. And Kimi no Uji, on top of that, he does have the tsunami tanks starting to get pumped out. He is up to that Tier 2 himself, and the Tengus are going to be getting pulled back, but he does have to kind of make himself ready for the incoming wave that is going to be YuiYui. Kimi no Uji is going to be pushing forward, going for the crushes, and one of the tsunami tanks is going to be getting some pretty all-right crushes. Immediately, the Peacekeepers are ejected on out of that building, and now YuiYui has had his front broken, and Kimi no Uji is pushing forward. He still has to contend with 2 multi-gunner turrets, though. Can he actually break through in a meaningful way? 2 tsunami tanks get eliminated. The Peacekeeper numbers are starting to stack up, but this multi-gunner turret is absorbing so much damage from Kimi no Uji. Jumps the Peacekeeper inside of there, but it does not matter. Kimi no Uji is able to break through at least a little bit here. And the follow-up is not going to be super impressive. Just more Imperial Warriors. The tsunami tanks are the damage dealers that Kimi needs. But he doesn't have enough of them. He just simply does not have enough units. YuiYui actually grabbing the oil derrick on the left side of the map. That's, I guess, what that engineer ended up being utilized for. And YuiYui just slowly creeping towards Kimi no Uji, pushing out a little bit further and a little bit further. Ooh, cryo shot going to be coming in here. Kimi no Uji won't be noticing. The Harvester does get frozen down. Vindicators should be coming in. They get the bombs off. They take the damage from this Defender VX, but oh my word, it's not actually enough to kill off that Vindicator. The Vindicator will be able to escape. And things are just going so poorly for Kimi no Uji. He's still in this game in a technical sense. In the north, Apollo's kiting on down. They're going to be able to see exactly what Kimi is up to. Unfortunately, this Tengu may have had his number called. He may be going down, gets eliminated. Every unit is so important for Kimi. He does not have units to spare. Finally gets the kill on one of the Vindicators, but after losing another tsunami tank, and the units are just getting whittled away. YuiYui with the power play. The infantry coming in. Can he seal the deal? This could be it, but Kimi has not been broken. He still has life left in him. It's just getting increasingly dimmer as Yui continues to power forward in this game. I'm not sure if Kimi can actually hold this next big attack off, but Kimi no Uji, he's like, this is pretty much finished. It's not over till it's over. He needs a miracle. He needs your love and support out there to try to bump this game into the ace match. Because if he takes game number 4, 4 tank busters on the side. They could clean up this refinery. They could clean up this refinery, depending on if the Peacekeeper gets many kills. But we shall see. YuiYui, he's just kind of saber-rattling. He's sitting outside of the base. Javelin Troopers on the high ground. Looks like we're able to get the kill on that refinery. But similarly, Kimi no Uji is going to be trying to kill off the Harvester of his opponent. No, will he actually be able to get the kill? He does indeed get the kill. That means that Harvester cannot escape. He cannot go for the kill there. But the Peacekeeper and the Vindicator, the splash damage is just going to be incredible on these units. The bomb splitting is great from YuiYui. Or rather, it's perfect. It's exactly what he needed. Kimi no Uji starting to push in, takes out the multi-gunner turret, might be able to strike down the Harvester, but again, that's not even really doing real damage to YuiYui. That's like bringing YuiYui down onto equal economy, not even, because YuiYui will still have that one Harvester advantage over Kimi. And Kimi starting to get pushed back. The Tier 3 has been purchased for YuiYui. The Mirage tanks are out on the field, which means his infantry are going to be extremely less effective. They're just going to get absolutely blasted away. YuiYui, can he do it? He's pushing forward slowly but surely, playing defensive, playing slow, and this is how he's going to be winning this game if he doesn't make mistakes. Play perfectly, no mistakes. Kimi gets the crush on one Mirage tank, but Yui still has an army left aside from this. One Javelin Trooper gets eliminated. The Imperial Warrior does fall. The MCV is going to be getting pushed back, and YuiYui is going to be pushing forward further in this game. The crushes, can they be incredible? They are pretty darn great. Wow, this one Tsunami tank singularly almost eliminating the entire army for YuiYui, but can Kimi push any further? He doesn't have a whole lot left. 3 Tsunami tanks heading over to the other side of the map. I'm not sure that he can really do too much with them, but this one Tsunami tank is completely elite. The Mirage tanks rolling up. This should be the game winner that YuiYui needs to finish Kimi off. Power plant says goodbye. The MCV can get incredible crushes if YuiYui lets it just stomp all over his units, but he's not going to let it happen. One more Mirage tank does get crushed, but YuiYui now has a nice spread of units able to crush on through. Kimi just says, GG, well played, congrats, mate. GG, well played, you're the best. Kimi no Uji through the winner's bracket is not able to make it happen, and in a secondary extended best of 5, YuiYui will take the 2014 Red3.org Christmas tournament. He is your champion, taking home that first place nearly $100 cash prize. And that will be the end as YuiYui takes game number 4 of this best of 5. A great Allies versus Empire series, but it really did show the domination from YuiYui throughout the entire thing. From the best of 7 to the best of 5, YuiYui is your champion. I think we can all agree on that. He absolutely deserves it, defeating Waff the Wolf in the loser's bracket, Kiro as well on his road to victory, and now Kimi no Uji in the extended series. An incredible game, an incredible tournament here today, and I could not really be too much happier with how things have turned out. Thank you all very much for watching. This is Sybert signing out.